We want to be the first generation to end extreme poverty. 2, we want to be the most determined generation ever to defeat inequalities and injustice. And 3, we want to be the last generation to be threatened by climate change. Am I right?
It is so decided.
Today we're setting new global goals for development, and every nation, every sector, every government, every citizen has to do our part.
We have gathered here tonight to commit ourselves to these global goals to build a future in which shelter, food, clean water, education, and basic medical care are seen no longer as privileges for some, but as inalienable human rights for all.
To get an education which every child deserves.
Gareth Bale, Real Madrid and Wales. This is my dizzy penalty for the global goals.
This is Usain Bolt.
Michael Owen
for global goals.
I miss my goals, so the world leaders will miss theirs.
The United Nations Global Goals
for Sustainable Development.
Let's get to work.
Let's make it happen.
Hi everyone. Welcome to this special webinar in English version, Integrate Values into Education, organized by Charter Young Leaders with International Network of Sustainable Development Goals Promoters, Colombia, Mexico, and Panama chapters, Soka, Gakkai International Panama, CIAP Kiwe Foundation, Ecopeace Team Cafe, Climate Related Leadership Corps, and Generation 2030, in commemoration of Global Week of Action of Sustainable Development Goals. Today, I present my dear friend, my founder and executive director of Ecopeace Team Cafe, and a charter leader from India, my friend Greshma Piyush Rahu. Greshma, welcome to this webinar. Your microphone is yours.
Thank you, Rocio. Am I audible?
Yeah, let me to share your presentation. No problem.
Hi everyone, I'm Greshma. I'm from India. I'm the founder of Ecopeace Team Cafe. It's an online dialogue and transformative platform for teenagers. So today we are going to discuss about values and how we can integrate values into education, and also about the role of Ecopeace Team Cafe and how we are integrating the values in our modules and in our education. So today we are going to discuss that. Rocio, next slide. So maybe we can start from what values are. So the Oxford Dictionary defined value as something of great worth or importance or standard or principle that is valuable in life. And so we know value is something which is really treasure and it gives us wealth. So how value means a kind of like having something most important or most valuable. So that value is the most treasure in our life, and that makes us wealthy and rich, not just economically, but like even the inside feelings, and also socially. That gives us more happiness, and also it shows us the way to find a more meaningful and more genuine life. So values are so important. The Dictionary of Education defines value as the thing in which people are interested, things they want to desire to be or become, feel as obligatory, worship, or enjoy. So the Dictionary of Education defines value as this, like the thing in which people are interested, things they want to desire to be or become, feel as obligatory, worship, or enjoy. Proceed, please. Next slide, please. So, education is not merely about acquiring knowledge and gathering and correlating facts. It is to see the significance of life as a whole. Education means self cultures and self improvement. This is the perennial source of illumination for various walks of life. Value value education, or values integrated in education, foster a culture of unity in diversity, a culture of tolerance for pluralism, and a culture that promotes peaceful means for resolving problems and issues. Value education needs to be integral component of curricular and co-curricular activities. Education becomes meaningless unless accompanied by knowledge of values. We know, like, how education makes people more civilized and like making more perfect, but when when we think about education is just knowledge, then that may not make us perfect. Education with values plus knowledge plus understanding gives more meaning to our life. So the integration of values in education is really important to make a human being a more respectful and more kindness of person. So modern values such as democracy, equality, fraternity, global perception, international cooperation, and environment protection all are very important integral values, and we share these values to the children, to the younger generation, through our parents and teachers. So they are uh, the children acquire all these values through their life and through their from their childhood itself. So when we integrate these values in education, they may know like how they can how they can grow up with all these values, even though they carry what from their family, they inherit the legacy, but then with the education they can think what is right and what is wrong. So through education they are able to gain a critical analytic skill also. So even though they inherited something from their family, but through the value integrated education they are able to understand the real values in their life. So value education aims at transforming a mind into healthy, innocent, natural, and attentive, capable of higher levels of sensitivity and perception. It develops moral, spiritual, aesthetic, and social values in a person. So, here the main point is the value education aims at transforming a mind into healthy, innocent, and attentive person. So our Ecopistin Cafe is also doing the same job. Like we are also trying to transform human minds and transform the person to a more understanding and respectable person. So So that's what we are trying to do through Eco Steam Cafe. Next slide. Rocio, next slide. So here are some strategies for integration of values. They are silent sitting, storytelling, narrating anecdotes, analysis of critical events, message of thinkers, questions, framing questions and discussions of dilemmas, problem identification. Next slide. Rocio, next slide. Analogical self-reflection exercises, visualizations, creative activity, role play, themes, and team projects. So these are some strategies on how we can integrate values into education. And values are really guide our behaviors and give meaning to our existence. So good values are spontaneous manifestations of character, of a sound character. Value assist us to take right decisions and make choices. Values gives direction and firmness to life. So when we communicate these values to children, it's not easy to dictate the notes or just sharing by words. So we have to use some strategies to reach these values to the children. So according to Gulati, these are some strategies which are really followed by the value education system to educate the children on the importance of values and how to integrate those values in our life. So when we for example, when we convey a message through role play, it is easy to understand by the students who are watching it. So for you, even for role play, we are not focusing on the improving more on the acting style or acting skills, but we are focusing on giving the information, like giving the idea of values to the students. So we are just trying to communicate the idea of values to the students through role play, and this can be done in various different ways, but we have when we do it through activities, it is easy to communicate with the children and encourage them to do so. So these are some strategies which we can use. Rocio, next slide. How does EcoPeace Teen Cafe integrate values in education? So, as I mentioned earlier, EcoPeace Teen Cafe is a transformative education platform. So, we are really trying to integrate values in education and share those values with the children. So, let's see how we are doing that. Roshio, next slide. So we are already in 3 continents and we are doing 4 modules for the children in 5 weeks. So each each of our EcoPeace training are now for 5 weeks. Hope many of you attended our last webinar and we mentioned our 4-month program which we did for students in India. So now we reduce the time period and now we are conducting 1 month program consists of 5 weeks. So actually, we have 4 modules which are dependent on Earth Charter principles. So we are focusing on the 4 pillars of Earth Charter, starting from community building to environment conservation. Then we are focusing on social justice, and the last one is peace building and non-violence. So we are focusing all the like all the 4 pillars of a starter, and we are giving training for 30 students, like 20 to 30 students from each region, and we are doing all this, and on the 5th week we will do a closing ceremony and certificate distribution. So initially we started this program for students in India, and then we expanded it to Latin American and Caribbean. and now we are doing it for Africa, and our call for global cohort is already on. So if anyone who is watching this webinar, you can join our global session and you can connect us. And if you are interested, you can join our program. So as I mentioned, we are focusing on 4 modules and which are really connected to each other. So especially on community building, we are trying to communicate that we are living in a pluralistic world. Like we have different cultures, we have people who are talking different languages, we have people who are following different religions. So we all are living together in this world. So we have to appreciate all the differences. And I'm from India, so we always believe unity in diversity. We are having more than thousands of languages and more religions, and but we are living in harmony. So we have to spread that harmony all over the world, and with understanding and with appreciation. There are differences, so we have to recognize that differences, and we have to respect that differences. Then only we can flourish in our way of life. And the values are mainly talk about like the core values include truth, righteousness, conduct, peace, love, and non-violence. So exactly, we are trying to share the core values with the children from the module 1 to module 4. So peace building, when we talk about peace building, we are more focusing on non-violence, and we are promoting them to follow the path of Gandhi and Martin Luther King and like Nelson Mandela. So we shared the message of all the visionaries with the children, the teenagers. So we believe that the teenagers are the real change makers, and they have lots of potential to change the world in a more sustainable and peaceful way of lifestyle. So we are promoting that with integrating values. Next slide, please. So these are our students who attended our training program. So we did 2-day training program here in Kerala. So many students attended this session, and they were discussing about like peace circle and how to resolve conflict. So mainly we are discussing about interpersonal peace building. So how to talk with your friend, how to talk with your family, your teachers, and the way how we can improve the way of our like our living style, and how to resolve the conflicts. We know like conflicts are inevitable and conflicts are necessary to make changes. So, but we have to resolve and manage these conflicts non-violently, without using any kind of violence, even it's verbal violence. So we don't want to use any kind of violence. So we are strictly following the non-violence method of communication. So these are our students, like the first batch of students who attended our in-person training in Kerala. So they were very excited, and they were like really really interactive during all the sessions, and participated with their heart to like to implement the way of peaceful and sustainable lifestyle. So that's about Eco Peace Team Cafe. Next slide, please. So these are my references, and thank you so much, Rocio, for inviting me to this event. Next slide. So thanks a lot for giving this opportunity to Red Promoters Panama and all the earth chartering leaders who are working tirelessly for making this event a successful. So thank you so much, and wishing you all the very best. So let's dialogue and let's act for a better and safe world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Greshma, for this excellent presentation. You always excellent in your presentation about this Ecopisting Cafe with the relationship of Air Charter. It's very fundamental for academic and special integrated values into education. Okay, the next presentation is about of my dear friend from Nigeria, Victor. My dear friend Victor from Nigeria. Hey Victor, what's up?
Hi, I'm doing well. Good evening
Hey,
over here.
yeah, I'm really happy to stay here in this special day for the Sustainable Development Goals. Say hello for youth delegates from the Summit of
Yeah,
America
hello.
2022. Yes, Victor is my special friend from Nigeria, NCLA. He always explain about the education in Africa. He have a big importance in this interview about the Earth Charter and education for the pillar for democracy, non-violence, and peace. Today, Victor explained about for this detail about for this pillar of a charter. Well, Victor, his microphone is yours.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rocio. Greshma, you made a wonderful presentation. And Greshma has been a very wonderful friend for a long time. And connecting with her today again, it's something so special to me. My name is Victor Matthew Ayegba from Nigeria, and I'm an environmental educator. There is no way we can talk about environment without peace. There is no way we can talk about climate change without addressing the main causes. And this because life in general presents a lot of things to us. And we have to just make sure we know how to integrate the key values to life into education to make the world a better place. Gone are those days when we see education as just learning books, passing with good grades, and that's all. Education is far beyond that recently. So can I have the first slide, please? Okay, thank you. So I'll be saying how I will integrate the Charter Pillar 4, where we'll talk about the core values, and knowing that we have the system principles of the Charter, which are actually divided into pillars. So the Pillar 4 says democracy, non-violence, and peace. Going through this, we have to find strategic approach to strengthen democratic institutions at all levels and provide transparency and accountability in governance, inclusive participation in decision making, and access to justice. And this brought back the concept of climate justice. There is no way we can talk about justice when one area is marginalized, when we bring ageism, racism, and the rest into it. So this pillar on democracy, nonviolence, and peace really talk about this. And it is the right time we bring this into the core concepts. Bringing it into the academics, it requires bringing this into raw concepts of life. And that's what a charter does. The a charter is just beyond just a platform to learn. It's a platform that integrates such core principles. And it's time we embrace peace. Thanks that we had a lovely week, which was a week of peace. And thanks to this wonderful platform for bringing such initiative for this event. So can I have the next slide, please? Okay. Integrate into formal education and lifelong learning the knowledge, values, and skills needed for sustainable way of living. Now, this is just beyond just what we know. As a business person, what strategic approach I really putting in place to make business effective? We are looking for business that are eco-friendly, business strategy that are really bringing sustainability into view, not businesses that will just cause more harm to the environment. So it's all back to us to have strategic approaches on how we do this. And that is why these pillars exist from the Earth Charter. And thanks to Earth Charter for saying into the future 22 years ago to bring this into reality. And this is really what the world needs as a roadmap to making the world a better place. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. treat all living beings with respect and consideration. This has actually been one of the major reasons why I could stay in the vulnerable part of the country called Nigeria. And those that could stay in the northern part of Nigeria, not really being part of the cities, boils back to the principle of treating all living beings with respect and consideration. Every life matters. Bigger or better or wiser than the others. But in the nutshell, we all have one singular goal, and which is what? Respect for all the forms of life. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. Promote a culture of tolerance, non-violence, and peace. The honest truth is, we can have our individual differences and still stand the cost to respect each other's belief. We can still have both the Christians, the Muslim, the Buddhists, any pattern of religion, and still have respect for such persons. There is no need for violence. People really understand the law of interconnectedness. In that aspect, we are all what? Interconnected. And this brings us together as one. And we can really work things as one. So it still boils back to respect to all forms of life. And this is what in the aspect of tolerance, non-violence, and peace. And together, I so much believe if we have this strategy, we will really make a very huge difference to the world. Can I have the next slide, please? The next slide. Okay, now we have education transform lives. The UNESCO provides a lot of guide, and thanks to the collaboration that exists between UNESCO and the Earth Charter, the goal is to really bring transformative and regenerative concepts to life. And this is actually what we are doing. Being a teacher for a very long time, this is one of the aspects of what we do. We realize that just teaching the basic physics, chemistry, and the rest are not really what we really need, though they are key to the manufacturing of resources, but we also needed to understand regenerative concept of life. And this is the aspect we are bringing into this concept. How do we really teach these aspects and make these young minds who are really having great plans of having industries, great plans of bringing so many changes? How do we let them understand that sustainability is key? So we have UNESCO provides global and regional leadership in education, strengthens education systems worldwide, and respond to contemporary global challenges through education with gender equality as an underlying principle. It works encompasses quality educational development from preschool to higher education and beyond. And this is it. And this is why the collaboration between UNESCO and Earth Charter is really a great and massive opportunity. This will grant a lot of young minds opportunity to see beyond the usual and also create a lasting solution to our world. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, and this brings us to the Sustainable Development Goal 4, education for all. One of the easiest ways to transform lives and system is to provide education to everyone, not minding the race, not minding the gender, not minding the skin color, not minding the origin, not minding the age. And that is why I really want to applaud the new system brought to other regions where even if you retire at your old age and you want to go back for your master's degree, for such people, PhD are free of charge. And this is a welcome idea to promote systems that work. It means everybody have a value to add if we have adequate knowledge. And we're calling on all stakeholders, both as political leaders, organizational systems, and everyone to see how we could contribute our quota to promoting this just quality education by offering scholarship to those in the marginalized ones and those having challenges or the others. And this will really help in bringing a lot. So we say all recognizes several impediments for universal education and attempts to address them through targets to increase the number of scholarships to students in developing nations and create educational facilities that are gender sensitive and disability inclusive. It means no matter your gender, no matter your disability status, no matter your health status, you still have the right to quality education. And quality education is what really counts. And together we can still do this. Can I have the next slide if there is? Okay. So why does education and environment matters? There is no way we can talk on education and we won't talk on environment. The inclusiveness these two play is beyond our measures. And that is why we say the UNEP vision is to inspire the next generations of young leaders to become environmentally cautious individuals with a deep love for the planet. For this purpose, we believe that environmental education and education for sustainable development are crucial investments, particularly if we are to deliver on the global goals. But more than that, our vision is to turn the youth budge into a youth boom with now opportunities for green jobs, new channels to reach people through video gaming platforms, in addition to working with university partners to support their leadership around the world. And this becomes very essential. We are bringing UNESCO, UNEP, in collaboration with other agencies, bringing education and environment together makes it better. And that is why my basic goal is to promote environmental education in northern Nigeria. This plays a cardinal role in bringing a lasting solution to the system. We don't just teach them what is climate change. We'll let them understand the grade of man. How does this grade play and how does man play cardinal role in bringing a lasting solution? I would have shared so many videos, so many encounters we've had with students and how we're making such changes in the urban and rural areas. And such changes really matters. But I believe with time, we'll have so much time to do this. Can I have the next slide, please, if there is? Okay, now we have the discernment education, peace education as a new literacy. And thanks to Greshma made great point from here. The aspect of peace education is key. And working with young people make this easier. And I somewhat believe that with the world opponents, with the world systems, young minds will make a great difference in our world. I have a belief that together, the youth, the young minds will create a lasting solution, not just to a system, but to the globe. We need young men that will rise for a just belief, young men that will have respect to all forms of life, young men that will not just be politically carried away, young men that will have the focus to maintain a particular status quo, young men that will integrate education and environment, young men that will bring lasting solution to peace. And these are all what really counts. And this is what a literacy that should be taught at all corners. If you have respect for every living thing, you will definitely be in peace with all men. And this is one thing that every religion practice peace. Every religion talk of peace. And we are all doing this to make the world a better place. Can we have the next slide if there is? I think this should be the last slide. Okay. Thank you so much. And I really want to appreciate the team for inviting me to this wonderful group. And I look forward to making a lasting change to this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Victor, for staying here in this conference in commemoration of the Sustainable Global Goals Week. Now, the next and ultimate expositor, my dear friend Star from the Republic of Colombia, the regional coordinator of Chatay Only Leaders Colombia, Laura Restrepo Alameda. Hey, Laura, how are you? Welcome to this conference. Your microphone is yours.
Thank you so much, Rosie, and thank you so much for inviting me here. And it was great to hear Greshna and also Victor, because they made a lot of points that I want to highlight maybe in my presentation. So today I'm going to talk about educating with ethical decision-making tools. And I really wanted today I made the decision to be more explicit with the tools, and I want to leave you with further research. So we will be exploring a little bit of ethics around the Earth Charter and the SDGs, and what to do around the ethical dilemmas we face every day. So especially that, because I believe that we can have tools and reflections that allow us to effectively integrate values to education. So here's my agenda for today's session. And before continuing, I like to make clear these two characteristics and principles of education. First, education is a fundamental and enabling right. And second, education is a public good. And taking that into account, we want to create a more sustainable, if we want to create a more sustainable world, with stable economies and more just and inclusive societies, that it's difficult, but it's not unattainable target. So if we can understand this as a common responsibility, and as an exemplary citizen is made, not born. So just as we learn mathematics, languages, and other stuff, we should also become specialists in those lessons that are fundamental to live in harmony and social progress, such as respect, empathy, equity, solidarity, critical thinking, and some others that already Greshma and Victor said. And without these other ethical principles that define us as a human beings, it will be difficult for us to build a better world. So that's why educating in values is an educational process that dialogues with moral standards to create more civic and democratic societies. And this dialogue and reflecting about all this stuff about values and ethic through it promotes tolerance and understanding about and beyond our political, cultural, and religious differences. And I think that putting special emphasis on the defense of human rights and the conservation of the environment with the intersectional perspectives. And all those scenarios are ideal context to teach ethical principles, not just on the schools. And now talking about characteristics of values in education, we have here, and I'm not going to go deeper into the meaning of each one. If you want to search these, you can find them at the UNESCO. The UNESCO highlight these 5 characteristics. The first one is the collective identity. The second one is the global vision that we need to bring into values, not just local visions, but complementing it, not exceptional. And critical thinking, social skills, and collective. I duplicate collective identity, but I think that the other one is social skills that we need to work to bring more peaceful societies. So, talking about more about the ethical principles, here I bring 4 of them that I think that are essential to talk in the educating places. So the first one is welfare, doing an activity well and doing it good to others through an activity well done. And I think that this is very important, and we must when we want to talk about action without harm. The second one is autonomy. This is the non-interference by one in the lives, actions, and decisions of the other, except for those interferences that are desired to expressly accepted by them. So it's very important, also talking about auto-determination and autonomy in those contexts, because we need to be self-conscious about it. And justice, guided by true reason, justice, and fairness, is not just justice as a law, is justice as we feel, or the community feel that is justice. And the other one is non-maleficence, and is very related with the one that I told you, that is welfare, and this requires consideration of the damages that may result for a given action that I will make, in order to avoid it, or at least minimize them or the harm. So it's also brought by this theory about action without harm that I highly recommend you to research. And we talk about, I want to bring you these ethical deliberation tools. I'm not going to go deeper, also because of the time constraints, but we have 2 principal deliberation tools from 2 theories that are very interesting. The first one is the teleological, and this path brings to happiness, or this path leads to happiness. And we want like 5 steps. The first one is character building. The second one is ask about the good of life. The third is deliberative actions. The fourth is habits, and the 5 is virtues. And as I said, I'm not going to go deeper, but I want you to understand that this is a theoretical reach, like some theoretical that want to reach happiness into our actions, like a couple of steps. And the other one is the deontological, that it's a path to live that more to a moral duty, and this is more related to community. The first one is more related to us, to the self person, and the other one is about citizenships, about communities, about, yes, like working together. And this brings, first of all, morals that we know that are like social paths to, like social negotiations, like the rules that we have in the society. The second one is freedom. The third is reason, for the universal principles, and the 4 categorical imperative. I know that maybe could bring a lot of questions to the conversation, these ethical deliberation tools, but I want you to research also about this, because we don't have time because it could be like an hour of speech here. And I really want to, now that we have talked about ethical deliberation, now that we talk about some ethical values, I want you to bring some ethical notions in the Earth Charter. And it consists, and as he said here, we want 4 pillars that are very important, and we have 61, if I am not forgetting the number, 61 principles. And this Earth Charter is a very important document that proposes changes in the mind and heart, as a basic ethic place in totality that we want to bring to the community of life. So this document consists of on a declaration of fundamental ethical principles to build another society based on justice, sustainability, peace at a particular critical time, as we can see on the pillars highlighted on the slide. And based on justice, based on that, we want to reduce great dangers and bring great possibilities to promote a global interdependence and shared responsibility among all human beings, and also based on the conviction that we do not own the planet, but we are part of it. So this is very special in their charter, and that's why some people think that this is a very like progressive document, because it's also it was also wrote before the SDGs. And now that I talk about what the Earth Charter brings to the values and ethical discussions, the Earth Charter is an instrument for a global social pact around values of life, and I really think that is a reverence of life. And this is because anthropocentrism and the domination of some cultures, mostly from the global north, I mean, some cultures think that they must overcome the other ones. So the most serious problem of humanity right now, and we are watching it through the impacts of the climate change, for example, is the economy that emphasizes competition and not collaboration, and everything, even life. No, so we are thinking about economy before life, and this economic project could lead us to a great extinction, and we are in that path right now, as the IPCC shares in the research that they published this year. And a new ethic brought by this Earth Charter need base values such as respect. This value is highlighted in some of the pillars and principles in the document, and because being intrinsic values and the life deserves this respect. No, so we can have also another principle such as care, such as understanding or knowledge in order to be able to love more, the compassion, love, that is the greatest force in the universe. And I think that highlighting these values that are highly explicit on the charter is very important. To talk also that three important objectives for education are awareness and application of values and inviting to act. It's not just thinking and theorizing. This is also bring the action to the conversation and bring the action to the word. And education must encourage the self-realization of some people so that they can be themselves and dare to participate. And we can see some of these self-realization and also the awareness of life in the document that was published this year by the United Nations, the Human Development Index. So I highly recommend you to search for that document, because it could be very interesting when we talk about these values into the global goals. And now that we are entering into these SDGs and the Agenda 2030, we have a lot of dilemmas and in the SDGs, right? The 2030 agenda, sorry, is full of these ethical dilemmas. And sometimes we need to ask ourselves what to prioritize, what to do when principles enter in that conflict. And we ask ourselves what we understand by development, and what are the values in there, which principles and goals can guide to that development, but also bring in social, economical, and environmental justice. And what is the model that the person and the theory in the social justice that underlines it, right? Because we need to prioritize this social justice. It's very necessary today, now that we are watching now that we're seeing around the world that economical and environment has a lot of consequences inside the social justice, such as climate change, such as the COVID pandemic. So this stuff, we really need to bring this topic about dilemmas. And when we begin to ask ourselves in those situations in which there are conflict between the different values and the person and the available actions possible, so we highly we highly know that we really begin to ask ourselves what to do, what are going to do right now, how can I prioritize and bring maybe both positive and negative repercussions at the same time. Sorry, because when we have these dilemmas, it's obvious that we are going to have these positive and negative repercussions at the same time. And here I present a shortened version of a possible guide for ethical decision making. The one I usually present in the longer presentations has 6 steps, but due to the time constraints, we have this quick guide, and we can identify these dilemmas by bringing this first question: what is right and what is wrong, and why can I bring to this? How can I bring a solution for this with a common sense? The second one is wrong versus wrong. If you can't run away of doing something wrong, how can I minimize the damage or the harm in a community or in an action? So sometimes these dilemmas bring that to the conversation. Maybe I can't do something positive. I need to maybe have a negative impact in any action I can bring. And right versus right, we sometimes also are able to have this scenario. And if you have an ethical dilemma, just continue, because you're going to have just right versus right, no? So you must prioritize what do you want to bring to the conversation, or what index you want to prioritize, no? Ethical, social, economical justice, and this is a very important conversation. And without a reference, and this is my last slide, and in this last slide, I just wanted to bring a reflection that I've made through these years participating in the Earth Charter program and also working in the SDGs. And is that without a reference that allows us to see clearly where we want to go, and how could we stumble. Without it, the strategies, means, actions, energies that makes up the practice can lead into undesirable directions. And the main role of the Earth Charter is to precisely that, orient, show goals, proposals, and also bring dreams, objectives that are common to all humanity. And at the same time, it is a basis for assessing the extent to which the decision or concrete actions of governments, corporations, organizations, group, individuals are in the line of the common responsibility toward this common planetary destiny. So the Earth Charter affirms that environmental protection, human rights, equitable development, and peace are interdependent and indivisible. So this is very important when we are confused and when we have ethical dilemmas. And to finish my presentation, that is why it's so important to reaffirm that the Earth Charter is a complex ethical guide for decision making and prioritization of the SDGs in every and each scenario. So this is very important, because the 2030 agenda is full of ethical dilemmas, and if we want to prioritize, we can have this very important guide, that is the Earth Charter document, and I highly recommend you to review this, what to do. And not just this, you have a lot of guidelines in the internet that you can use to solve that dilemmas. And just to finish, I want to bring here my email if you want to contact me, and also thank Rocio and the team for bringing this important space. So yeah, that will be all for my presentation. Yeah, I don't know if Rocio is maybe the. Okay. I think that we are maybe having a couple of technical issues.
I'm here. Yeah, thank you very much, Laura, for stay here in this conference, special for Global Week. Excellent presentation. Congratulations, darling. I love it. You're always best. You are the best, always. Okay, I read in this moment the comments for the participants in this moment of the YouTube Live. Say hello from Mexico. Congratulations for the conference. Ecuador, Peru too, Bolivia, Argentina, Colombia. Hey, say hello to Colombia, Laura. Say hello for Colombia. Paraguay. Well, no have more questions. We can finish this conference. Thank you very much, everyone, for stay here in this conference about the integrate values into education. And now, everyone, we have to take the picture official for this conference. Greshma, Victor, Jose, we are here? Are we here? I don't see that. Okay, put the cameras now in this moment. Okay, let me to read the ultimate comments of YouTube Live in this moment now. Okay, let me share now. Oh, everyone say excellent. Okay, in Spanish, no? Okay, no problem. Okay, well, everyone, see you soon. We are waiting with the ultimate conference in September 26 about the Pillar 1 about the Air Charter. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye-bye for the next conference. Jose, you can now shoot